Welcome everyone to another recording. This is poem 10 on the grade 12 English Home Language Prescribed Poetry List. The title of the poem is It is a Beauteous Evening, Calm and Free by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was born in the United Kingdom in 1970. He died in 1850. He was one of the founders of the Romantic movement in poetry, and he had a great love for nature. As many of Wordsworth's other poems, this poem is a reflection on nature and a sort of conversation with presumably his daughter. It is suffused with religious overtones. A little summary on the poem. This poem captures the power of a tranquil moment in nature. The poem focuses on the speaker's simple moment in walking by the ocean with a child. Here we presume that this is Wordsworth's daughter, whom he had not seen in a decade. In the 18th and 19th century, having a child out of wedlock was considered scandalous, so Wordsworth concealed this element of his personal history from the public. He also views the scene through a Christian or religious lens and assures his companion, we presume here that it's his daughter, that God's presence is omnipotent. He states that even if she does not express devotion to God or spend time in physical place of worship, God is always present. This reaction stems from her being seemingly unaffected by this incredible scene in front of them. He ultimately praises God for the creation of nature. He describes the calming influence of the sea and compares it to a holy time. Because the child with him is so innocent in her thoughts, he is also saying that she is a part of God's wonderful and divine nature. This is a Petrarchan or Italian sonnet consisting of 14 lines. The octave, or the first 8 lines, describes the breathtaking beauty of nature. The sestet, the last 6 lines, serves as the speaker's comment on the beauty and spirituality of the scene. He addresses his comment, his daughter, directly in the sestet and acts as a commentary of the speaker's understanding of spirituality of life in general. We see that in the octave, he describes how beautiful and leisurely the night is. Remember that we have a volta in this poem. A volta is a turning or a transition between an octave and a sestet. In the volta, the speaker addresses his daughter directly and focuses on the speaker's understanding of spirituality, of life in general. The rhyme scheme in this poem is A, B, B, A, A, B, B, A, C, D, E, C, E, D. As we read the poem, it is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy time is quiet as a nun, breathless with adoration. The broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. The gentleness of heaven is on the sea. Listen, the mighty being is awake, and doth with his eternal motion make a sound like thunder, everlasting. Dear child, that walkest with me here, if thou appear untouched by solemn thought, thy nature is not therefore less divine. Thou liest in Abraham's bosom all here, and worshippest at the temple's inner shrine, God being with thee when we know it not. So we look at line 1. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. Beauteous means beautiful. The atmosphere is very peaceful and tranquil. A person is completely at ease. There's no worries or stress. We look at the word evening. It is often the most gentle and quiet time of day. Calm, it's a peaceful mood that is created in this line. And free, Free here implies that one is free of stress, pain, or worries. This line gives off an atmosphere that is very peaceful and tranquil. A person is completely at ease. There seems to be no worries. Line 2. The holy time is quiet as a nun. Here we need to look at the fact that this is a personification and a simile that uses religious elements to the poem. Holy time, this is the evening time. The speaker speaks of the evening time. The evening time has been compared to a nun. Nun, we know, is usually quiet when in prayer. She is close to God. She loves God. This metaphor here indicates that nature brings a person closer to God. Religious element in the poem, a holy time and nun, is quite evident. A time of day where respect for nature is indicated. Line 3 to 4. Breathless with adoration, the broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. When we look at the word breathless, we cannot even hear her breath. This emphasizes the silence that is taking place. Just like the nun is breathless with adoration, so does the feeling of this time and place take away the poet's breath with awe at the beauty of God's creation. The broad sun, as the sun sets, it seems to become a large orange-red ball, and the colors of the sunset stretch out across the horizon. This adds to the serene and peaceful atmosphere. Sinking sun gives us the impression that the sun is heavy and is slowly disappearing. Line 5. The gentleness of heaven broods over the sea. So we'll look at this line. We understand as the readers, we see that the sun is reflecting the skies or the heavens. Heaven here is a connotation for God. It is a figurative expression that God is watching over us. The gentleness of heaven is a personification. Heaven is described as being gentle. This adds to the peaceful atmosphere. The gentleness of heaven, we see here that the sun is reflecting on the skies and the heavens. It is beautiful and godly. When one broods, they are contemplating quite deeply. So we see here that heaven seems to be watching over the sea below. Figuratively, God is watching over the world. Line 6 to 8. Listen, the mighty being is awake, and doth with his eternal motion make a sound like thunder, everlastingly. Listen is a command. Listen is a command, and the exclamation mark intensifies it and indicates the excitement of the speaker. A very quiet moment is broken by this imperative order. The poet wants his companion to be an active participant in this scene. The mighty being is awake. Literally, this refers to the sea. However, figuratively, it refers to God. The capital letter in being implies that although the speaker is referring to the sea, the capital letter links the sea to God. The Almighty Being, both the sea and God are awake and eternally, and neither stop moving. So it is there forever. A sound like thunder. This is a simile. Breaking waves sound like thunder. This indicates the power of God. This thunderous sound of waves contrasts with the calm and quiet lines in lines 1 to 3. The dash creates a pause and emphasizes the word which follows, everlastingly. Without the pause, there would not be such a strong emphasis. It is the end of the octave, but it indicates that God's creation and, by inference, God is forever. Lines 9 to 11. Dear child, dear girl, that walkest with me here, if thou appear untouched by solemn thought, thy nature is not therefore less divine. As we look at dear child, dear girl, that walkest with me here, this is said in a loving tone. He expresses his love and adoration for his daughter. The exclamation shows that the speaker could be in excitement at the beauty and the wonder of nature, but also with the child. That walkest with me here, if thou appear untouched by solemn thought, thy nature is not therefore less divine. Wordsworth tells his daughter that although she doesn't seem to have been affected by the depth of feeling in the scene, he can assure her that it makes no difference to what is true. Even if she doesn't know or understand it now, she is still made of the same divine material as all creation. Even if she is not touched by the beauty of the scene, it does not mean she is removed from God or less spiritual. Line 12 to 14. Thou liest in Abraham's bosom all the year. Abraham's bosom is a metaphor. It refers to heaven. Like a father holds a baby to protect it, the girl is unknowingly protected by God. All the year refers to all the time. She will always be in God's presence and He'll always be protecting her. And worshipest at the temple's inner shrine. The temple's inner shrine, this makes reference to nature. Even if she does not express devotion to God or spend time in a physical place of worship, like a church, God is always present in nature. God being with thee when we knowest not. God is always with you, even if you are not aware of it. We see assonance in this line. A repetition of the E sound in being, thee, we. This emphasizes God's presence. God will always be there. So as we look at what we've seen throughout the poem, we have said that this is a Petrarchan sonnet. It's divided into an octave and a sestet. In the octave, we see that what is presented is a picture of a beautiful and tranquil sunset. The speaker expresses his feelings of admiration for the evening. The peaceful atmosphere of the evening is compared to a holy calmness of a nun, praying to God with absolute concentration. The bright sun is sinking down in its tranquility, and the calmness of heaven shades over the sea. Amidst all of these, the peaceful evening, the sunset, and the roaring of the waves of the sea, the speaker feels the presence of an external being, that being God. In the octave, the speaker exposes the reader to the close relationship between nature and God. However, in the sestet, the speaker addresses the girl walking with him. The speaker sees the child as untouched by the solemn atmosphere of the evening. He then realizes the indifference to the beauty of nature and how it does not minimize the divinity of the child. The child has a divine nature. She is close to divinity. the themes that run across this poem. Firstly, we have the holiness of nature. The speaker celebrates the majestic and holy beauty of nature. He describes nature in reverent terms. The poem urges an appreciation for the beauty and power of nature and God, placed during a holy time, the time of evening prayers. The speaker's language portrays the world as a divine creation capable of admiring its own handiwork. Human beings are a part of nature and thus part of being the divine. The second theme is childhood and faith. The speaker addresses his dear child directly when she does not seem as awestruck as he is. He reasons that it's due to the age and innocence of the child. Children are always close to God. They maintain a natural sense of faith and wonder at all times. So, he ultimately states that through her reaction, he discovers what children feel all the time. Her outward lack of reverence does not mean that she is any less holy or pious or capable of reverence. The speaker states categorically that children are the most holy and reverent of God's creatures, and we lose this as we grow or mature with age. Children are perpetually in Abraham's bosom, in God's presence. Note that Abraham is a central patriarch and prophet in the Bible. We look at relationships. We saw the relationship between a father and daughter as they walk along the beachside, but we see how man looks up to God, and we'll also see man and how he is a part of nature and also worships nature. We also need to notice the beauty of nature revealed through God, right? Or the power of nature and that of God. Wordsworth believes the sunset is so beautiful because heaven is present in the sky. The last theme, the power of God and that of nature. The beauty of nature reveals God. That is our theme. Wordsworth believes the sunset is so beautiful because heaven is present in the sky at this time. As we look at the tone, in the octave, the tone is one of awe, tranquility, and therefore giving off the mood of calmness or peacefulness. In the sestet, the last 6 lines, the tone and the mood is quite spiritually inspiring. It's important to note that resources come from the grade 12 English poetry booklet. Thank you for tuning in. If you found the videos helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and share.